More counties, and of course David has served in the legislature almost 40 years. He and Calvin Smyrie came in together. I was with Al Scott last night, who was the chair of the Board of Commissioners. He was at the reception, and Al said he came in 1974 with y'all. I guess he did. I don't know. He said 74. I know you were in there riding your motorcycles.
76,
Al came in 76. Last night he said 74. I guess he was drinking some strange stuff last night over in the Odyssey. But Senator David Lucas is here. The reason we went into equipment is because of David Lucas. He made the first call. We responded. We all went in, and that's why the equipment team is here today. Senator David Lucas.
I just want to say, you know, you're talking about those new Negro. Politics is changing. And what we have today is that we are not voting. We're not voting. We died, got lynched, dragged up and down the street. And today, if King was living, he would be crying.
All right.
Watching these young folks walk with the pants below the waist.
All right. That's right.
And y'all excuse me, I had eye surgery yesterday and bloodshot. Water. But anyway, what we've got to do, we got to vote. It's a new phenomenon. You talk about new Negroes. Republicans have found a way to get over. These new Negroes take their money.
That's right.
Don't have a job, hadn't worked, hadn't done a thing in the community, and go out and attack other blacks who raise the question, why not? Why is it time for us to sit down and do nothing? You know, one of the sayings I always hear, well, he's divisive or she's divisive. Or he's arrogant or she's arrogant. Or he is racist and she is racist. They're not racist. What they're doing is questioning the delivery of service to our folks. To our folks. We have just as much right to receive the benefits of our tax dollars that we don't get. And we sit here in this room, it ought to be filled up. I remember when Maynard was with GABEO, and how black elected officials got together and filled this place up. And we had a voice. And when national politicians came to Georgia, they wanted to meet with GABEO. Now, they are working on destroying us. And they are doing it with the vote. The very thing that we fought so hard to get. We are not voting. When we look at these lines that have been drawn, and black folks help them draw lines that get rid of Democrats and put Republicans in. Macon, Georgia is a prime example. 3 Negroes went to Atlanta and did what the other folks said. And when they came back home, they came to the black community and told a lie. And when they went over to the white community, the plan was all right. That's what happened in Macon, Georgia. Henry Fickner lost a race because they drew the lines, the Republicans drew them, and the 3 Negroes signed on and talked about they didn't know that's what it did.
They didn't know.
They had a meeting, put everything together, and then said that they were going to have a session where they talked and would not tell the general public back home what was going on. They had a gag order. You elected from the black community and you got a gag order on to tell us what's going on in our community. And when we found out what was going on, the Justice Department was gone. Supreme Court had ruled. We had to go get lawyers. Had to raise money because we didn't have a Justice Department. And now here we are in 2014 with a Secretary of State's office that won't even give you the current data. You locally have to get the data from the Secretary of State's office. You can't put your data together at home. It all goes to the Secretary of State. And on election night, you get the figures from the Secretary of State's office on a local race quicker than you can get them from your local phone.
Yeah.
That's because they're changing things.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get up. We got to get to march.
Come on now.
We've got to join the NAACP. We've got to join the SCLC. We've got to let folks know in Georgia that no longer will we accept mediocrity.
Amen.
Al, you talking about a Harris nigga. I don't have to talk about a Harris nigga. I can talk about God, Georgia. A black female,
Come on, Doc.
won. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a white man, majority white council. And he didn't think he was going to lose. And he was talking all that jack. And a black female beat him.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, that was a problem.
All right.
A problem.
Yeah.
How do you mess up in office and they say it's malfeasance? It ain't running right. And you don't even sign the check.
All right.
Don't even sign the check.
Come on now.
When you're doing the thing, they had 18 bank accounts, a little old guard, and the chief of police and the clerk were signing all the checks.
Come on. Oh, my God. That's right.
And that ain't bad.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
And Tyrone, I can't understand how a superior court judge even take out. I always thought that if you brought up anything, the governor had to appoint a committee.
Right.
But a superior court judge is taking her out. And white folks are doing the same thing, running, guard, like business as usual. Let me tell you something. They even mail checks to their folks, to P.O. boxes, didn't have a name on it.
See that?
My.
Come on.
And we citizens,
Yeah. Whoa.
we've not marched down and going.
Come on.
We need to let white folks know that in this day and time, even with those new Negroes out there, there are those of us who have worked and labored in the vineyard, and that we must show. We got to show y'all. I'm telling you now, this election, you talk about, we got some good candidates. They white. They raise money too. But guess what? They can't get the first base if we don't show up.
All right.
And that's our problem. Now, I don't know whether or not we got to have some more police officers killing black folks to make us stand up. You know, I've always seen that in crisis, when folks did what they weren't supposed to do, we would show up in mass.
That's right.
But now we got a chance to show up in mass at the voting booth and got all kind of excuses why we didn't go. It is time, y'all. It is time. When you can put black elected officials in jail for nothing. And I say it over and over.
Yes.
They sent Charles Walker
Yes.
to prison,
Yes.
stripped him,
Yes. All right.
because he had gotten too powerful over in the Georgia Senate. But when Sonny Perdue became governor, he became one of the richest governors in the governor's mansion, putting all kinds of deals with his company.
Yes. Yes.
Nathan Deal was under investigation in Congress and resigned to stop the investigation and came to Georgia and got elected as governor. And if you walk in the governor's office, there ought to be a big sign that says, "Welcome corporate America. You little folks need to stay out." We won't accept affordable health care because it is about racism.
That's right.
There is no other way to put it. It is about about racism because a black man is the president of this country.
All right. All right.
They talk about going to war in Iraq. He got us out.
Yes.
Bush got us over there. $1 trillion deficit. Never paid the bill while he was the president.
Yes.
And now all the blame is on the new president.
Yes. Yes.
Something is wrong, y'all.
It is. It is.
And what's wrong is us.
All right.
We cannot ask white folks to solve our problem with our black youth.
That's right.
It's up to us.
All right.
And we must let our black youth know that we are not going to sit around and tolerate you running up and down the street, shooting guns and taking life.
All right.
And we are afraid now to sit on our own front porch. Something is wrong. And they don't plan to try to solve it.
That's right.
Because if we in prison, or we 6 feet under, then we can't matter. And so what I say to all of us, those of us in GABEO, and those of us who get known, somebody's got to take our place. But if they don't know their history, see, in Georgia, the law says that if you got a car, you got to have a rear view mirror. Well, that rear view mirror lets you know where you've been and where you need to go. And if black folks don't know what their history is, how can they know which direction to go? And it behooves all of us to pull these folks in and do what we need to do. We know what's right. We know that we need to stand up now. We need to stand up, y'all. People talk about welfare. They talk about food stamps. But nobody said not one word when we bailed out corporate America, big banks, and the CEO of $1 million salary.
Come on, dog. Come on.
We said nothing. It was good for the economy. Well, health care is good for the economy.
Yes.
Because that means a lot of us do a little bit more living than that. So I'm glad to be here with you. Apologize for being late. I didn't want to get up out of bed, Tyrone. My eye was hurting so bad. But, you know, I see Helen Butler over there. I don't see Rita.
Rita's sick.
I knew something had to be wrong. But our problem is we don't even support our own. The investigation on Tyrone is about Moore's Bridge.
That's right.
That's all it's about.
That's right.
It's about bringing those folks to justice.
That's what it's about. That's right.
And he keeps talking about it, and they don't want to hear about it. Don't you know that the G.B.R. and the FBI all know the names of the folks? And whether many of them are still living or all of them dead. They know.
They know. They know where they are. Yes,
But they won't prosecute.
yes, sir.
And they're not going to prosecute until we black folks in this state get off our hinds and do what we need to do.
Right.
And so I said to you, we cannot go to sleep now. New Negroes are taking over. They got plenty of money to run their campaign. They don't have to raise it. All they have to do is do what the other folks said do. And if you want me to put it in succinct terms, all they got to do is do what the master tells them to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going back to slaves, a new kind of slave.
Come on now.
And we need to stop it. If Harriet Tubman was living today, a lot of these new Negroes would have been shot. History is told, history said that Harriet Tubman got her brothers and was taking them out and they wanted to go back. And she told them, if you turn back, I'm going to kill you right now.
All right. Wow.
A black woman, strong.
Strong.
We still got to have these strong black women. Mary Lou, you got to stay strong.
Yes.
Chief, you got to stay with us. But we cannot allow the modern day lynching that is taking place in Gord, Georgia.
Amen.
We cannot allow. I see my good friend Jerry Shadows from Wilson County. And I understand we all don't think alike.
That's right.
And we definitely disagree.
Right. No phone.
But white folk disagree too.
That's right.
Amen.
Say
Amen.
it good.
So if they can disagree, why we can't disagree?
All right. Say it good.
Well, what I'm saying to you, talking about the Quitman team, and they got elected again.
Yes, sir.
Because you had some strong black women down there
Yeah.
that used what the government put in place, absentee ballot, that they had to count. And so we all ought to take a lesson from the Quitman team.
Yes, sir.
That we need to go out and we find our elderly folks. They don't need to be standing in the sun. They don't need to be standing in line. Fill out those absentee ballots.
Yeah.
And let's get them back in. And one thing about it, you don't have to worry about the machine kicking it out. They got to stand there and count.
That's right.
And that's where we got to be, y'all. This election coming up is one of the most important elections.
Amen. Amen.
We can change the tide
Yeah.
if we get out and vote.
Yeah.
And I wish we had a bunch of preachers here. Because they ought to be hollering from the pools
Amen.
right now
Amen.
about black folks and how we making excuses. Again, I just want to say, Tyrone, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
As soon as I leave, I'm going to the hotel lay down.
Yeah.
Give me some rest.
Go get you some.
Well deserved rest.
You need it, there. I can tell you need
But
it.
again, thank you for allowing me just to speak to you. But again, we've got to come together.
That's it.
We've got to bring black elected officials back together
Yes, sir.
because they are separating us
Yes.
and telling us
Exactly.
that you don't need to go to that meeting.
That's right.
Amen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a different agenda than most folks.
All right.
And the only somebody can help us perpetuate that agenda are those black elected officials that we elected. And if they can't help us, then we need to elect some more.
Yes, sir, David. All right. Thank you, David. Thank you for coming. We know you had eye surgery. Elaine told me yesterday you had eye surgery, but thank you for coming, David. I know it's tough. Reverend Ficklen is going to talk about Mary and Whippoorwill's order.
Was without authority to issue the TRO since the case had already been appealed to a higher court prior to the time he issued the TRO. 8 times out of 10, when the Court of Appeals grants an emergency motion, they will reverse the underlying trial judge's decision, said Attorney Robert Kenner, a DeKalb County-based lawyer familiar with emergency motion in the case of appeals, but not involved in the case. It is an extraordinary feat to obtain an emergency ruling from the Court of Appeals inside of 24 hours. In my opinion, they must have seen something egregiously wrong with Judge Reeves' order, said Kenner. According to Kendall Mayor will now be able to resume her duties as the mayor of Fort Georgia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Now let me tell y'all a little bit about Attorney Wayne Kendall. He is an attorney whose office is located in East Point, Georgia. And if you are without one, you need to see him. I recommend it. Attorney Kendall is active in voting rights and election law litigation, as well as other areas of civil and commercial litigation. He has handled numerous voting rights cases in the federal courts of the state of Georgia and local election law matters in the state courts of Georgia. Attorney Kendall is licensed in all divisions of the federal courts in the state of Georgia and the U.S. Supreme Court and the Federal 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. He practices throughout the state of Georgia. And I tell you, he is the greatest.
Where'd you get it from?
I hear a voice. And I see a man who called me up one day and told me, Mary Lou, you need to call this number. And I said, okay. I took heed to the doctor's orders. I procrastinated. And I said, well, he's been right thus far. So if I followed none other than the Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin, he recommended me, referred me. So Doc, I told him when he got me, he got the best, and I said, your name will go throughout the nation. You now have fame. Through me. Not the doctor, but through the mayor. Okay? Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
I was lost, but now I'm found. I believe I'm heaven bound. I've been lied to so many times until I don't know up and down. Yes, I've been told that blacks are here because of a curse. But as I got older, the lies seem to have gotten worse. I was lost, but now I'm found. Oh, I believe I'm heaven bound. Let me tell you, I was lost, but now I'm found. All I have is heaven on my mind. I was lost, but now I'm found. Don't stand in my way. Don't try to hold me down. I was lost, but oh, I'm found. And let me tell you, all I have is heaven on my mind. In the old Bible, there was and there is the Ham story. And it says that blacks were here because of a curse. Now in the face of God, that's blasphemy. And that makes it worse.